Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is the week in review. A pretty muted week as far as I'm concerned on the road to WrestleMania. I'll just go ahead and say it. I did not see SmackDown this week. I have been sick. But I did watch the YouTube clips, and even from the YouTube clips, it really seemed like not a bad show, but it kind of almost like a filler episode, if you will, with the most forward momentum being in the main event angle: Cody, Seth, Rock, Roman, and that kind of went ways that we could expect. And there are some things to unpack about that. But given that we've tried to take on a more conversational tone here, and that we stress that this isn't a recap show, there's actually something I'd like to talk about, and this is probably going to be the most praiseworthy I'll ever be of AEW, at least for the foreseeable future. And it's a shame because I still haven't actually seen the segment, but Okada's arrived, and apparently he's heel. And with the Bucks, yeah, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of this move. I love that Okada secured that fucking bag because he's getting paid buku bucks. And
He
I,
is
I,
a Japanese billionaire. He's literally worth, or he's literally, by the time his contract is up, he will have made 2 billion yen over the
yes,
course of those 3 years, from what the reports that we've seen.
I mean, dude, especially after Brock Lesnar's fall from grace with the whole Vince McMahon stuff, I wonder if we could even call Okada the smartest man in professional wrestling today because he got out of Japan when the yen was declining, and he got out of Japan and had huge money awaiting him. And then he debuts, with this tag team in the Bucks that I have really not cared for years, but have revitalized themselves in the eyes of a lot of people by actually having gimmicks and characters and really good heel characters being EVPs and really laying into it. It seems like kind of a time-honored tradition. We know Jeff Jarrett kind of leaned into being the founder of TNA when he would constantly put the NWA title on himself. Vince McMahon is a character. So, they're drawing from a strong tradition, and I think they're adding to it brilliantly. And I think a piece of this that I really like that I didn't even get into with you when we were talking about it over Rocket League, I love that it's at Eddie Kingston's expense because he's just so antithetical to everything that the Bucks and Okada as this kind of faction, the elite, represent. I mean, Eddie Kingston is the quintessential blue collar wrestler. He says in
Yes,
interviews like,
which
"Oh,
makes him the perfect opponent and the perfect foil, really, for Okada.
absolutely." I mean, it is so rare that AEW just hits it on every box with something like this. Now, again, this was just one episode, one moment. This is quintessentially lightning in a bottle. We don't know what next week is going to be like. It could suck. We don't know. But in this moment, I have to say, I feel like they did everything just narratively so perfectly because we've seen Okada in New Japan be the bully
Yeah,
before and stuff like that. But I've never seen him like overtly be the heel. Like he's clearly going to be here. And it's something, I mean, how many times have I made the joke that I wanted Okada to cut a promo just saying, I hate competing in front of poor districts. You people disgust me.
yeah,
And it's more or less finally happening.
yep.
And I think you used the perfect word in foil for Eddie Kingston. Yeah, man, I think this is a great introductory feud for Okada to larger AEW audiences because you can't take for granted how many of them even know about Okada. I
Yep.
read recently a report actually, I feel like you were going to say something. What do you want to say?
No, I'm just agreeing with you, man. I'm just agreeing with you all the way.
Yeah, because I even read a report recently that Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair had never actually seen Will Ospreay have a match, for example, until he came to AEW. So you never know who's going to be introduced to these talents, whether fan or fellow talent. When they go to a different company. So I think as an introduction, this is a great feud. But I'm going to shut up because I think you actually watched this segment, didn't you? Or
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did. I saw. It's funny because it was the timing of it just kind of worked out that I managed to tune into Dynamite. It was around shit. I think it was like a little after 9 that this happened, and yeah, it was the Bucks, and I don't remember. I think the Bucks might have had a tag match or something like that, but Eddie Kingston came out, and then he basically said, "Oh, you say that you're gonna find me if I say anything bad about you," and then he threw cash at them, like right in their faces, basically, and said, "Well, go ahead and find me because I got some shit to say." And
Yeah.
they super kicked him and they started beating him down. And then Okada's fucking coin dropped, and everyone started freaking the fuck out, like, "Oh my god, Okada's gonna save Eddie because he's like, the Japanese wrestling mark." But nah, oh god, it was so much better than that. We even got like the 2-on-2 face off too. Like Okada and Eddie stared down with the Bucks like it was gonna be a fair 2v2 fight, but no, Okada betrayed his ass. It was great.
So based on your reaction, just the giddiness coming
Uh,
through in your reacting, can I take it that this came off really well on TV? Because
it
I'm only
came
like,
off exceptionally well on TV, in my opinion.
excellent. I still need to go back and watch this because yeah, I'm only like marking out over it in the abstract. Because again, I commend AEW for just doing the logically obvious that a character like this should be a heel. Again, this is just contextualizing it in the context of one moment, one night. For all we know, next week it could fumble a little bit, but I like the vibe of this instantiation of the elite. I think it could really, really cook. But that's all I really care to talk about as far as AEW because I did not watch it this week. And that just seemed like the best thing they were doing.
Yeah, I missed pretty much everything up to that point. I didn't watch just about anything on the show.
Yeah,
I must have tuned in at some point because I did catch that. You know what? I don't remember what happened, but I feel like I remember a lot of this show. It must have just been one of those things where I had it on in the background on my TV while I was doing something else because I remember a lot of like I remember kind of just having a general awareness of like stuff that happened on the show. Like so we had a confrontation between Swerve and Samoa Joe to start the show, and then Undisputed Kingdom's music hit and they came out, and I just don't feel like Adam Cole comes off like a threat anymore at all. I just can't take him seriously anymore,
yeah.
and it's really unfortunate because he really should, and it just comes off like such a dweeb right now. It's so sad. Um, and then we got Taven and Bennett versus Swerve and Joe, as if anyone is gonna believe that Taven and fucking Bennett and Matt fucking Taven are gonna be a threat to Samoa Joe and Swerve. And Swerve basically beat them by himself, which I think was like the entire story. It was like Swerve just going on a fucking I don't even know the word, but like he just destroyed these guys. Like he was on one. He was on fire. He had they say the hot tag. Swerve had a hot match. Swerve was going absolutely crazy on these dudes. He basically beat them by himself, and you could kind of tell that maybe made Joe feel a little insecure about his title because he knows that Swerve has got his eyes on that title, and if he can do that to two guys, what can he do to me? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I just want to cut in here and say that I actually did watch this on YouTube. And it was interesting because I liked how they positioned Swerve here because he should be kept hot and he should be still positioned as a threat to Joe's championship. That's all great. Love Joe so much. Agree with your sentiments about Undisputed Kingdom, including Cole especially. And I don't know if Cole. I sometimes I want to fight back against the people on Twitter, especially that are like Cole will never be as hot as he was in NXT again, because I'm like he's Adam Cole, he's immensely talented, and he is. And I really felt like he was cooking before his injury with MJF. Like I really felt like him and MJF. I was enjoying that stuff. Um, but now I'm starting to wonder, like, can he ever really get back in that groove? Because NXT Adam Cole, if he would have transitioned seamlessly to the main roster, I feel like he would have main evented Mania in a couple years' time. Like he just really seemed to be on that trajectory. He really was on a trajectory to me where he could have made a case night after night for being one of the best wrestlers in the game. And he just seems so far removed from that. As far as Taven and Bennett, like this is a case of maybe relying too much on titles as a prop to make your competitors, which is why we always say the competitors make the title. You know, Gunther has made the IC championship hella valuable. The IC title didn't make Gunther more valuable. And it's kind of a similar thing here. They probably think it's a big deal, like, oh, he just beat the ROH tag team champions by himself. But it's Taven and
Yeah, I will
Dennis.
say,
You know?
I should specify, Joe did start the match, but as soon as Swerve tagged in, he went like boom, 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 like move, 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 taking out both guys by himself. Joe didn't get tagged back in after that. Like, yeah, like
Right, right.
Joe, it's not like Joe wasn't in the match at all. He did start the match, and he didn't like get his ass beat by these guys by any means. He still did Joe stuff, but like once Swerve got tagged in, it's like we went from a wrestling match to a one man showcase.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, so yeah, that's essentially all on the AEW side. Again, for me personally, the show I enjoyed most this week really was NXT Roadblock. We had a lot happen here. First and foremost, the return of Trick Williams. I gotta say, I like the return, and I got worked because I was hoping that Trick could have gotten a few more licks in on Mello before the show ended, but he only got like a few right hands in. You were correct, good sir. Tony D'Angelo officially going to stand and deliver
Yes,
uh,
sir.
to to face Ilya. I really have to wonder if Tony is going to beat Ilya,
You
and
know,
if he's going to be.
it's so interesting when there's a wrestling show out there that you can just kind of casually watch and you don't have to be like a hardcore fan and pay attention to every little detail. You can just kind of casually watch it, or like I do, I like to just kind of have it on in the background and maybe just pay attention here and there and still pick up on things that allow you to understand what's coming next and why. I love that.
Yeah, and you've always been very perceptive about that kind of stuff. I will say, again, I'm in a weird conflict as a fan because I am a Tony D'Angelo fan. I don't know though if I buy him as an NXT World Champion yet. And to be perfectly honest, like I really enjoyed Trick and Ilya's match at Takeover Vengeance Day. To the point where I think it's a match of the year contender for me on my TWitWoW award list right now. I'd have to double check and look, but I think I put it in there. That I just kind of want to Trick after he, kind of resolved business with Mello to do what Mello couldn't do, and that's beat Dragonoff and win the title. Because I think
And
Dragonoff
you know what?
is
I fully expect him to do that after he gets done with Mello.
so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but then that would imply that you do not expect D'Angelo to win at Stand and Deliver the title.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
look, don't get me wrong. I think that Tony D'Angelo is absolutely a potential future NXT World Champion. Like it's clear to me that Sean intends to make him a top guy at some point. But this story is about three dudes, and he's not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm glad you feel that way because I'm leaning that way, but I really don't know. Like, if we were doing a formal preview predictions, right? And you were to ask me right now, I really don't know which way I would go. But I am hoping it goes the way that we're kind of talking about because again, I think Trick and Ilya had a really solid matchup, and I think they can do even better. And I want to see them run it back. But yeah, the NXT World Title picture looking good. I will say my favorite angle right now obviously is Lyra and Tatum Paxley. And this is an interesting development because they had their tag title match against the Kabuki Warriors, and it was solid. But there was a miscue. Lyra accidentally kicked Tatum, and that kind of led to the beginning of the end of the matchup. And then afterwards, Roxanne does a vicious attack on
Dude,
Lyra. I got to give these two women credit. Sometimes when you do these attacks, it comes off a bit hokey,
yeah.
or it's like, oh, okay, this was vicious. I saw a comparison on Twitter, or I shouldn't say comparison, but somebody said on Twitter that anybody that's a Mortal Kombat fan, and I know Javaris is, and I think Foster might be familiar enough with the games,
Someone
that
posted that.
yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah, it was in our Discord. That may even be where I saw it. Yeah, I thought that was such an apt comparison because I'm like, yeah, it really was. She shattered that arm, bro. God, and I love too that was the attack because we know lately she's been doing more arm work in her matches because she's employing the crossface.
Yeah.
It was such an intelligent beatdown. I was a big fan of this, and interestingly, I went on Twitter to see if like Tatum tweeted anything about it or Lyra, but once again, this crop of talent, man, they're like don't tweet about shit. Keep them guessing. Trick only tweeted after he came back to beat Mello's ass. That was the first time he tweeted.
Yeah.
Before that, it was like to hype up Vengeance Day. So I really like that this new crop of wrestlers is like, hey, when you're working, work. When you're off the clock, have fun, post your Instagram, whatever. But like when you're in a storyline, treat it with a bit of bit of gravity there. I really appreciate that because it makes me wonder what's going to happen now. Like this was such a violation of Lyra's person. I could fully expect her to turn to Tatum and be like, Tatum, you said you'd do anything for me, right? Oh, of course, Lyra, my little dove. Well, then I've got an idea. And, then they do that bullshit to fucking Roxanne. I don't know, man. Because I think another thing that I'm thinking about too, because we know the draft is coming post Mania, right? So let me ask you, I know we don't really do like predictive stuff on here, but I think that's more like fantasy booking stuff. So I think this is more
I
of a
mean,
general conversational thing.
we do like fantasy mock drafts on here.
True, true. So I was gonna ask you if you had like any inkling about anybody that could be called up like after Stand and Deliver on the NXT side, because that's why I'm even
I
waffling on
definitely do think if Roxanne does not beat Lyra, I fully expect Roxanne to get called up because she's been in I think 2 Royal Rumbles now. I fully expect her to get called up.
that makes sense. I'll tell you the whole idea of a draft after Mania and the idea that the NXT pool would be a part of that is one of the big things that's giving me pause about the Ilya Tony D matchup because I could see the loser of that match getting called up, potentially, and more so if Ilya loses because I definitely think they'll want Ilya on the main roster eventually.
Oh
Uh, um,
God.
that wasn't a subjective thing; it's just a general observation that I'm making.
I
But
don't know though. I feel like I don't know. I feel like if Tony D loses that match, I could see him getting called up. Although, again, I feel like he still has so much to do in NXT that I'm doubtful. If Ilya loses, though, I just feel like he still has so much unfinished business with specifically Trick more than anyone.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
it's
can't
it's
imagine.
yeah.
I mean, I guess they could do the old like we're gonna call you up and you're gonna work both main roster and NXT for a while so that you can finish up all your NXT business before staying on the main roster for good. They've done that with many people, including Braun, literally going through it right now.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to do that, I guess. But I just don't expect Ilya to lose the title to fucking Tony D. Like, here's my thing: Ilya has been such a long reigning champion in NXT that for him to lose it to somebody that he has literally no personal story with whatsoever would feel really weird to me and really off to me.
I agree. I agree with you, man. You're definitely in good company with me because, again, I like Tony and I like what's happening with the family as a faction. I just I don't know. I've got reservations about it. I guess for me. Um, but yeah, I mean, Lyra, Tatum, Roxanne, that was the match I was most looking forward to at Roadblock. I think narratively it did not disappoint. And I gotta wonder, is Lyra gonna turn heel by or excuse me, yeah, no, I got it right. Is Lyra gonna turn heel by embracing Tatum and
I don't
taking on
think that
Roxanne?
that's an option anymore. I think they swerved us. I think Roxanne is just the heel in that feud now.
Which also, you know what? I agree with you, which also made me wonder. Okay, so Tatum has actually tweeted. I just looked to see if anybody's tweeted
What's
this while
she
Disney.
said though? Has she said anything relevant to what's happening?
No, no, she
Damn.
retweeted somebody that recreated Tatum's look and she's like, "Oh, I love that." So she's just engaging with
Damn.
fans.
So she's just doesn't respect kayfabe at all on
No,
social
I
media.
guess not. He's
That's a
like, "Hey,
shame.
Lyra, I know your arm got shattered and everything, but
But
I'm gonna
check
be with
out
my
this art someone made.
yeah." Um, but yeah, dude, like I agree with you. That was even gonna be my follow-up point is I even wonder is Tatum gonna develop an obsession with Roxanne or some shit? Like I really don't know where this is
Dude,
gonna
what if
go.
that's the angle? What if Tatum helps Roxanne beat Lyra? What the fuck?
And it's not even about like, oh, Lyra, you betrayed me. It's just she becomes fixated on Roxanne.
What if Roxanne showing this viciousness and like stomping on Lyra's arm the way she did made the stars align differently for Tatum?
Yeah, god damn. That would be nuts. Yeah,
That's
Lyra still
huge.
hasn't tweeted. Lyra's like, how am I
No,
supposed to tweet with a
Lyra
broken fucking
respects
arm?
kayfabe. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the only thing I saw Roxanne tweeted is like, I did something bad, but why did it feel so good? Young lady, go to your fucking room. You're unhinged. But no, I'm still loving the story. I really don't know where it's gonna go, but I really think I'll tell you this. The only thing I will say is I don't want any shenanigans in their stand and deliver matchup because that has the potential to be a certified fucking banger.
Well, but dude, I literally just said though, what if Tatum helps Roxanne to win?
Yeah, but like that's contained enough. I'm talking like I don't want a ref bump or any of this other stuff. If you're gonna help her, like I don't know, find a way. Like I'll even say when fucking Logan Paul beat Rey Mysterio, I thought they did it in such a clever way because Santos is just like, I'll leave these brass knucks here and walk away, mama business, and like no ref bump, no overly convoluted stuff, and so I'm
I don't
curious how it
know.
all go down.
Because here's the thing, Roxanne's whole gimmick this entire time has been that she just wants a clean singles match. But what if her turning heel corrupts that wish into I want you to think I want a singles match, but what I really want is that title at all costs.
I mean, she'd essentially be female Drew McIntyre then, because I feel like they're
Which
doing a
is
very similar story.
perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how you get that that's Drew McIntyre though.
Well, no, well, dude, I mean, he's telling Seth like, "Oh, Seth, stay out of Bloodline business. I don't want them to tame my world title victory." But we literally saw him accept Bloodline help in beating Cody Rhodes a few weeks ago. So, like, I feel like for Drew, if the Bloodline were to help him win the title, he would not give a shit. He'd be
That's
like,
fair. That's fair.
"I'm the champion, so fuck you." Um,
Also, that makes me realize is Drew Seth happening on night two now? Because that's weird.
I think it is happening on night two. Yeah, I think
We're gonna
both
have
major world
two
title
world
matches.
title matches on night two of WrestleMania this year. That's really weird.
Yeah, it's all gonna tie into my preview and predictions when we get to it. I am so excited.
Alex Foster in chat in kayfabe. What was Drew supposed to do? Wag his finger?
I mean, Foster once again being fucking correct. God, I love him.
now solo. Shame on you.
Yeah, play more, but also wrong. Yeah, I mean, fuck. Drew's only doing what he's got to do. Okay, I'm not gonna bemoan what the man does. That's his business.
I
And
love that
personally,
though. I really
yeah,
do. I really love this idea that like Roxanne keeps trying to convince everyone that I just want this clean singles match. I just want a singles match. All I want is a singles match, and I can't get a singles match. And it's like, oh, we feel for you, Roxanne. But then she finally gets it, and she cheats because like she gets help from Tatum Paxley behind everyone's backs. Like no one knew that they were in cahoots.
yeah.
I love that so much. I don't necessarily expect it to happen. I would love it if it would happen, but I don't want to get my hopes up that it's going to happen because that's how you get disappointed in wrestling is by hoping for something very specific that only you want to happen.
Okay, so Roxanne, like, she did that tweet on March 5th, did something bad, but why does it feel so good? And it was the footage of the attack. But then I love this because it's somehow even more unhinged. March 7th, she tweeted, "Walk a day in my shoes," and underneath it are 3 photos of Lyra being stretchered out of the arena as if to say, "Oh, you got stretchered out, but at least you're not me." Like, holy shit, this woman is gone. I love it though. That's great. And then she did tweet hashtag Paramore for Mania. She's trying to back Bailey up and
Oh,
getting
that's
Paramore.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So Roxanne, she's on one, but she's still focusing on other causes.
All right. Well, we
Um, but yeah, I mean that was the women's stuff. But also with women, I mean we know Thea Hale is just learning that she has no friends whatsoever. Uh, and I guess she's kind of similar to Blair Davenport, who also can't mind her business, and she was starting shit with Fallon Henley, which which led to the return of Sol Ruka, or is it Sol Luca? I
no, you
forget.
were
Like,
right the first time, Maruka.
so, yeah, Ruka, Sol Ruka, yeah, because she kind of came back, blindsided Blair, and then allowed Fallon to get the win. I keep thinking that they want Fallon to be like a bigger figurehead in the division. Like Vic Joseph consistently puts her over on commentary, like, oh, she's the locker room leader, and like I keep waiting for that to dovetail into like a bigger push for her. So I do have to wonder if Roxanne does beat Lyra, which I am leaning towards, unlike the D'Angelo Ilya matchup, if like Fallon would be one of Roxanne's first big challengers for the championship.
I feel like Fallon Henley is extremely overrated and overpushed in NXT personally. I don't get it with her at all. I don't see the appeal whatsoever.
I think she's got a great look, and I think she's got that like ability to her, and she's solid enough in ring. But do I see her as like a flagship of a division like I would a Roxanne or as Lyra has proven herself to be? Not particularly.
Like
Um,
I feel like they're ripping off themselves. Like, what exactly does the duo of Fallon Henley and Solruka provide that the duo of Kiana James and Izzy Dame doesn't do 100 times better already?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, performers like Fallon are kind of in a weird place because I feel like across all of WWE, you're just kind of in that mid card place, which is why instead of women's tag titles, I would honestly be more open to a women's like mid card title because I just really couldn't
That
buy
would
a
be
Fallon
nice in
as
NXT
world
at
champion.
least.
Yeah, because I mean,
I
well,
don't
we'll
think
think
that
about
would
the
work on the main roster.
I don't think it will work on the main roster, but for NXT, I do think it's more plausible. Because I mean, look at the landscape, dude. On NXT, you've got Lyra as NXT Women's Champion, and I'm not saying you have to like her, but I am saying like I think she's presented in a credible enough way that her being champion it fits. Raw is fucking Rhea, who is so over right now, and SmackDown is Io, arguably one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you're just in a really weird place where everybody is talented because this isn't even a time of like Fallon, I feel like would have been perfect in the Divas era. And I really don't mean that as an insult. I know it comes off that way, but like I feel like she would have been more of a standout there. But here where like you're getting more quality women's workers, it's gonna be really hard to carve that spot for yourself. And I don't know.
Well, and even just isolating NXT and ignoring the main roster, you've got, as far as main event level women go, obviously you've got Lyra and you've got Roxanne, but then I think Blair belongs in that main event conversation as well. We've already kind of discussed the potential of Lash Legend as a main event talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the main event level talent in NXT, I think, is kind of blooming right now because I promise you I'm forgetting names, but there's definitely a lot there. But if you had a mid card women's title, you could have women. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think Kiana James could be considered a main event talent in NXT among the women. I
I
think
I, I definitely yeah.
yeah, I think she belongs in that main event, like NXT women's championship conversation, literally to the point that like I could absolutely buy her being uh either Lyra's next challenger if she does manage to retain against Roxanne, or if she would happen to turn face at any point this year. As soon as that would happen, I would imagine her being a challenger for heel Roxanne for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think there's a lot of talent in NXT's women's division, and if there was a mid card title, I might actually have hope for Gigi to win something for fuck's sakes.
Absolutely. I mean, even on the side of people that are more character based, like I personally am a big fan of Ariana Grace, and I'm intrigued by her
Ariana would
story.
be a good contender too. I mean, Jakara Jackson, since we brought up Lash Legend being sort of main event type talent, Jakara would be a good mid card champion contender. Jada
Yeah,
Parker, another one. Izzy
yeah,
Dame, Solruka, we already kind of mentioned her. Her and Fallon Henley both, I think, fit that. Tatum Paxley, for fuck's sakes. There's a lot of really solid mid card level women in NXT, um, that I don't think really should be going after the NXT Women's title. But
no,
you introduce that mid card title, and all of a sudden you've got a whole new division that makes things very interesting.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. Let me see here. What else? Well, I mean, fucking Wolf Dogs beat Chase U, and again, I was kind of touching on Thea Hale earlier,
Bro, did
because
you see Braun Breaker's Frankensteiner?
I did.
Oh
Dude's
my
a
god.
freak. I love him.
Dude, he did it during a fucking picture in picture commercial break too.
I know. Goddamn.
That man does not give a fuck.
Yeah. He's like pacing all this other stuff. Look, I'm Braun fucking Breaker. I'm gonna run through all these people and not even sweat. Um,
Like, he does a double springboard, salutes the crowd into the Frankensteiner, and I just imagine the ref gets up into his ear like, Braun, you got to do the spot again. We missed it. It was on commercial and commercial. He was like, oh fuck that. I did that for the people here in the crowd.
yeah. God. his name is Braun, but he's such a fucking Chad. But yeah, I I love him. I'll tell you if he does well. I mean, technically he is already up because he's on the SmackDown roster.
Yeah,
I want to consider him a favorite for Money in the Bank so bad this year, but I'm gonna wait to see the men's
it's a
field.
lot. It is a lot. You know,
Yeah,
it's we don't ever see main roster rookies win Money in the Bank ever.
yeah,
I don't think it's ever
mm,
happened before. Maybe Brock did. Well, no, Brock didn't win Money in the Bank until he was a vet.
exactly.
I can't think of a time that a main roster rookie won Money in the Bank.
Well, that's why there always needs to be a first ever, and Braun will be that first. That's right. I said it.
I remember
But
when we wanted Ryback to win Money in the Bank as a main roster rookie and got shitted on endlessly for it.
yeah, yeah,
Do you remember that?
I do. But
Bro, people were so pissed at us for wanting Ryback to win Money in the Bank. I think it was what, like 2013, 2012, something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Bro, we had people so angry at us. Even our own friends at the time were pissed at us for it.
Yeah, like it's been a hard, long road doing this fucking podcast for so many years.
Funny.
But yeah, no, you already
Alex
know that I
Foster
think
wants to know if it's going to be another KO for Money in the Bank 2016 campaign.
you know what, Foster, you know it is, and why did you have to start that statement with "dang it," as if you're disappointed, as if you're going to be responsible for picking up the pieces? I
I
don't
even
go to therapy, sir. I'm going to be fine.
I even left out the dang it, hoping you wouldn't notice.
Oh, I did. It was very blatant. But you guys already
Wow.
know I already have Tiffany as a lock for the women's, and really,
So
I'm
you've had your Tiffany epiphany already?
shut the fuck up. Uh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Normally I'd apologize, but you had it coming. But
Oh, I
I'm waiting.
literally asked for it for sure.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for the men's field to be formally released before I give any kind of opinions. I'm just saying that I would really, really be happy with Braun, like extremely, immensely fucking happy. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
I will
But
give DBK credit. He mentioned Alberto Del Rio. He did win Money in the Bank in 2011, and I do believe that was his rookie year. He also won the fucking Royal Rumble that year, which was also his rookie year, which was also the biggest Royal Rumble of all time. They gave him literally everything immediately.
yeah, like I thought you learned from Brock Lesnar, and then you go and you do it with that fucking piece of shit, and yeah, it just really didn't work out for you long term, did it? But yeah, I don't know, but Wolf Dogs are still NXT Tag Team Champions. I don't know who the next challenges are going to be. Probably Gallows and Anderson, if I had to guess. But I guess it'll be a decent matchup. I just wonder if they'll want to go back to Japan again because they'll just be like, man, this isn't fucking working. But yeah, we'll have to see. I really can't think of anything like notable because again, we're not a recap show. I will say I was
Bro,
pissed
could
about
you
no Obafemi
imagine
on the show.
if Cody lost to Roman on Sunday, like on WrestleMania night 2, and The Rock is like, never again, and Cody somehow managed to weasel his way into Money in the Bank and won that and cashed in on Roman?
Don't do your pain cackle to me right now. Don't do your pain cackle to me right now.
It just feels like something they would do to make him feel like he struggled to get there.
Oh my god. So just completely suppressing that.
I'm
Yeah,
so
I will
sorry.
say the only other conversational point about Roadblock that I would feel compelled to make, would be that I was pissed that there was no Obafemi on this show. Um,
Dude, I
I
know. I literally felt his absence. What the fuck?
yeah, it's weird because now he's gonna be on NXT next week, we know, to
Yeah,
face
Jensen.
Jensen. Yeah.
Wasn't he
For the
advertised to do that on this show though?
No, I don't think he was, to
I
be
thought he
fair.
was supposed to do that on Roadblock.
Yeah, no.
I want Dijak versus Briggs for the right to challenge the winner of that match.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna get it because we know, I guess, kind of tying in. I mean, Briggs tried to talk to Jensen. Jensen's like, bro, which is it? You told me to grow some balls, and now you're telling me this. And he walks away, and then Dijak is like, you're lying to him. You know he's a dead man walking. He just kind of walks away. I've been waiting for Briggs and Dijak ever since the Iron Survivor Challenge to have this goddamn hoss fight, and it seems like it's going to happen. And then when Dijak hopefully fucking wins, he goes on to face Obafemi at Stand and Deliver and make me fucking moist. That is the agenda. That is the fucking plan, and it's going to happen. Hopefully. Um, so yeah, that's essentially it though for Roadblock. I really don't feel the need to talk about much else as far as that goes. Similarly for SmackDown, there's really not much to talk about there, and I guess,
Oh,
but
I did want to touch on something roadblock related
oh, of course, what's up?
because we didn't address this earlier. Luca joined the family.
Oh yes, officially, that's right. Yes, he did.
So I don't know if you think that that's going to play into the Tony D Ilya match or what, but that is now an official thing.
Yes, I'm happy for him though. I think that's a really great spot for Luca, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to like make an official declaration of like, oh, is he, is Ilya going to retain or isn't he or whatever. So we're gonna have to wait and see it play out. But yeah, I know. I think the family is a very. It feels like a very solid and complete faction right now.
Yeah, I will
And I
also
yeah.
say on an NXT note, but an unrelated note from what we were just talking about. I'm surprised that you didn't want to talk about the Kabuki Warriors being on NXT this week.
I mean, we essentially did. I mean, because they did retain against Lyra and Tatum. I don't really know what there is to say beyond that. I mean, they're still the champions, which I think is great because Damage Control needs that credibility. Um, Speaking of Damage Control, I'm hyped for next week's SmackDown because we know Bailey is facing Dakota. That's going to be an interesting one-on-one matchup, and Dakota's official return to the ring. That's going to be fucking dope. But yeah, not really much. I mean, I think the crowd received them very warmly. I heard the welcome back chants and stuff, which they definitely deserved. It was a solid matchup, but not really much in the way of conversation. Um,
Yeah.
but unless you had anything that you want to say about it, the idea that they're kind of defending their title on all brands.
No, I do think that's cool. I don't necessarily know if we can expect it to happen again. This might just be like
Right.
a one-time thing so that they can say they did it.
Right.
Only other thing though, what'd you think of Regal showing up?
It was nice. It was nice. And the crowd was a bit weird with the chant, he's your fuck, like, no fucking shit. Like, that was the only time the crowd, I think,
That
really
was
annoyed me at
literally
Roadblock.
just them being like, "We're smart. We know that he's your daddy.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't ask.
We know
Shut the
things
fuck.
that this product doesn't tell us, you guys. Look how smart we
Yeah.
are."
God, this really contributes to my misanthropy, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that was interesting enough. I see, my wrestling brain is like, oh my god, is Regal actually going to attempt just one more match, but it just being a Heritage Cup matchup against his son? And I'd be lying if I
Oh,
said I completely pushed that idea out of my mind, but I'm also trying to like calm myself down and be like, relax. It's just his dad giving him a nod on TV. But I think it was very interesting that they trotted Regal out for this because, he showed up to hand the reins over to Ava. That was the one thing. And then now here. So he's very limited, as he should be at this stage of his life and career. But I do wonder, are they going to be insane enough to have him do a Heritage Cup championship match against Dempsey because he sees that his son is kind of bastardizing the legacy of that cup? I don't know, but I'm intrigued to find out. Did you have any
even if
thoughts
he's
about
only
this?
here to cut promos, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean Regal.
Regal
Regal just
promos
has
are
an air about him.
excellent
Yeah,
consistently.
he's fucking phenomenal. I agree with you completely. I think he brings an air of dignity and credibility when he comes out that a lot of people really don't carry. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how Dempsey's kind of reign with the cup goes forward. And I guess to tie into that, your homies, the metaphor, they are looking forward here. I thought we were going to do a an angle where Dar is just catatonic
Yep.
until he gets back the Heritage Cup, but he kind of did a fake out and he said,
Dude, I thought this was so weird.
"Yeah, me too. I really didn't know what they were going with this." Because yeah, that Lash is like, oh, we gotta find him, whatever. And then they just see him sitting on the couch, staring off into space. It's like, hey, Gnome, it's Lash. How you doing? Look, I know it's been really bad. He tries to like talk him down, but then he like the switch gets flipped. It's like, oh, and they hug, and like, I really don't want this faction to break up. I am begging people that come together to understand healthy interpersonal dynamics because I love these fucking people. Um,
Yeah, the thing is, it's pro wrestling. So pro wrestling and healthy interpersonal dynamics do not mix very well.
I mean, you say that, and you're right, but that's why we can always change the culture. All it takes is one act to change the culture, you know?
Of
So, like,
course. Of course.
let's make it happen. But no, personally thinking about the future of the metaphor, since now, like, because you brought up these things, it got me to thinking maybe there is more to talk about with NXT. Um, I personally hope they shift the focus where it's emphasized more on Lash, like a Lash for
That
the
would be
women's
awesome.
championship, and I think Noam, even though it just seems so fucking impossible, for the North American title. I know Obafemi would devour him, but I think it still would be interesting to see him kind of pursue that. Um,
Oh god, I want to see that match though now.
yeah. Oh man, or maybe Gnome and or Amensa for the NXT tag titles against the Wolf Dogs. I
Oh, that
wouldn't
could
be
be
opposed to.
cool. I really just need to see Noam try and beat or Obafemi though first.
I need Obafemi to just look at him and be like, literally what? It's like, but I want a North American title match. Yeah, and I would say I want things, but I'm me. I'm in one of nothing.
I
So
get things.
yeah, like I exist. Do you not see what's in front of you right now? I can beat you. Maybe in 2K24, shrimp ass. Um,
I
but
would be
yeah,
curious. You know what though? I bet you Noam Dar would put on an entertaining fight against Big Oba because obviously Oba's got the size advantage and the power, but Noam has a lot of speed and technicality and experience that Oba is lacking. I think that he could make it really interesting.
yeah, I agree, man. No, no, I will say, like, watching a few of his Heritage Cup performances, I'm reminded of how solid of an in-ring performer he was.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see what the future of Metaphor will be. Will Lash and Jakara go after the women's tag titles? I think there are a lot of options for this group. And again, I've already said I think they're getting ready for a babyface turn because they've had a lot of losses, but I think fans are really starting to warm up to them. And I'm just wondering now what the future holds. So yeah, that's NXT. NXT is doing a lot of stuff. But
NXT, I think, is my second favorite weekly wrestling television show.
SmackDown being the first.
Right now, yes.
Okay. Um, But let's talk about Raw very quickly
Sure.
because again, for me, there's really not a lot to talk about. I missed the first hour of this, but I did see the highlights of Dom versus Gunther. And hey, look, we can say what we want about Dom. I will give this man his credit right now. As far as main roster WWE, and I can't stress that part enough because I know the mob that I'd probably be inviting if I didn't qualify. I think Dom has had the best sell of Gunther's chops specifically. That dude sold those chops like fucking death. And then when he was in the trainer's room in the back, still selling it, I'm like, that's how it's fucking done. So I want to give Dom his props. He really put Gunther over, which isn't that hard. Look at him. So yeah, and then Gunther, for his credit, he was like, "No, you're Dominic Mysterio. I'm not gonna beat you with my fucking power bomb or spot. Like, I don't respect you, bro. I'm gonna treat you like a fucking rookie, and I'm gonna beat you with a crab. Like this is New Japan. That
I
was
love
incredible
that
to me.
lore though, because the thing is, if you're just watching as like a casual wrestling fan, someone who really only pays attention to main roster WWE, or maybe you dabble in NXT a little bit just to try and get to know the next generation of WWE stars or whatever, you don't get that. But you can clearly see that like Gunther, like maybe you associate it more with like, oh, he's using the walls of Jericho or whatever. But like those of us who paid attention to New Japan and know this shit and know like Japanese wrestling lore in general, that was disrespectful as hell, and I'm living for
Yeah, yeah.
it.
This just also goes to show too that a match doesn't need to be long to be good because this match was so short seemingly, but like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the highlights that I saw of it specifically because again I didn't see a bell to bell,
No.
but like yeah. Super Blue, we already touched on that earlier. I swear people trying to get us to go back to shit when it's like, we're done with it. But yeah, we already said that Dijak and Briggs are probably gonna have a Haas fight, and then hopefully it's just Briggs or Dijak. I'm really honestly good with either one, but Dijak I think is the more money matchup. So yeah, Dominic getting destroyed by Gunther. I don't even really want to get into the Cody and Seth stuff. I personally think Diarrhea Dwayne is cringe, personally. But I will say,
Bro, I can't believe that came out of Seth's mouth. Holy shit.
bro, I'll tell you what I couldn't believe. Not that it came out of Seth's mouth, but the idea that at least was somewhat over because the crowd at SmackDown in Texas was chanting that at Rock at one point. Diarrhea.
Yeah, they
And Seth had a
were.
good laugh about it. So, I guess
Yeah.
that's why
That
he gets paid the big
was
bucks, I
the
guess.
most Vince McMahon line that I've heard since he's been outed.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're kind of furthering stuff, and obviously the big development was on SmackDown. That's why I don't even really want to touch on that here, because like, I don't know, fuck these guys. Um, what
Correct.
else? Because again, I missed the first hour. Not gonna talk about that, not a recap show. Oh, okay, so apparently I did miss this because I didn't even see this uploaded on WWE's YouTube channel or whatever. Dakota apparently went to the ring. I did see that Damage Control was on the show, and Rhea said to get out of her territory, and her and Io had a look. I'm telling you, Io wants to fight everybody. I feel like. But apparently, Dakota Kai went to the
That's
ring
something she
saying,
and I have in common because I want Io to fight everybody as well.
"Nice." Um. Oh
Now,
yeah. Okay.
as
So
far as what you're talking about with Dakota going to the ring, was this on Raw or SmackDown?
this was Raw. I'm seeing the context now because it was after Shayna and Zoe won another tag match. I hate that fucking Shayna's in another tag team.
Dude,
And
she
I,
can't escape tag team hell.
dude, she really can't. And I literally have to look and be like, why? Because in ring, she's so good. You can't even tell me it's because of promos. Because look who she's fucking paired with, and like. I thought her promos in NXT, she figured herself out. She's like, look, if I just keep it succinct into sound bites, I'm actually pretty good. And she was. So there's literally no fucking excuse. I don't know why this keeps happening to her. But Dakota essentially saying that look, after we Kabuki Warriors retain NXT, which they did, you'll get your title shot, which they are. We know this Monday actually, Kabuki Warriors are facing Shayna and Zoe for the tag titles. I really thought that this was going to be the Mania matchup, which does make me wonder what the Mania plans are now for the women's tag titles. So I guess we'll have to see. I'll just ask you real quick. Do
I
you think Kabuki Warriors are retaining here?
I think they're retaining, and I'm telling you right now, I think the tag match at Mania is going to be multi-woman, multi-tag teams. I think it's going to be 4 or 5 tag teams going against each other.
God, you're probably right. God damn it. All right.
Kabuki
Um,
Warriors might even include this team. KC2. Who was Shotzi teaming with over the last couple months? Was it Natalia?
no, you're thinking of Tegan. Tegan's been teaming with Natalia the last couple months.
Who has
Shotzi,
Shotzi been with? I forget.
I have no idea, but we know Shotzi's hurt anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, is she?
Well, yeah,
Oh,
remember she
that's
had that
right. The
AC.
torn ACL. Fuck.
Yeah,
Shit, I actually just straight up forgot about that. Fuck me.
that's why it takes two, baby.
You know what? Maybe they would do like a tag team turmoil so that they could get more teams into it and fit like a couple NXT teams.
You know what? I could see that. I could
Because then
see
we could
that.
maybe do like an Kiana and Izzy or Jakara and Lash, something like that would be really cool.
Yeah. Um.
Lyra and Tatum
Yeah, dude, I'd love that. Um. Not
getting a
much to say.
WrestleMania spot. That would be nuts.
Oh hell yeah! Not much to say about Becky Nia. It is what it is. I'm proud
Ugh.
of Liv Morgan for asserting herself. Liv is facing Becky next week. That's a match I'm looking forward to. That's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Um. After that, we get a video package for Drew and Jay, so nothing to talk about there. Now, this is what I wanted to ask you because actually, wait, I need to remember because I know your sleep has been fucked lately. Was it fucked for this past Monday on Raw, or did you actually see stuff? I forget.
I don't remember anything from Raw, so I definitely slept through it.
Damn it. Because I was going to ask you how you felt about your fucking king, Andrade. He faced Apollo Cruz on this show.
Yeah, I heard that he beat him too.
He did with the Hammerlock DDT. But since you kind of just
But they
didn't
apparently
really see
nothing
this.
else happened. It was just he just beat him in a wrestling match, and it wasn't even that long of a match, and that was just it. The match was over, and that's it.
But it seems like he's gonna do something with the Judgment Day because Dom did say like, "Oh, we should keep our eyes on him." He's thinking that Andrade could be useful for them because I remember when Dom was in the trainer's room trying not to fucking die. Andrade came in and he was like, "Hey Dom, I'll see you soon." He's gonna beat your ass, dude. I don't know why everybody could see it but you. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But Dom is like, hey, maybe he can join us and we could, become even more powerful. So keep an eye on him. It's like, yeah, you keep an eye on him. Fucking piece of shit. Uh,
Jesus Christ!
I'm not wrong, so I'm not apologizing. So yeah, Andrade wins. And so now I guess we could talk about here's one big thing, and here's something I want to ask you about. How do you feel about how we are going to determine Gunther's next challenger?
It's like a 5 or 6 man match, right?
It's a six-man gauntlet match.
Oh, it's a gauntlet. Oh, I don't know if
Yeah.
I like that. I don't like
I kind of had a
gauntlets.
similar reaction to you because,
You know why though? It's because with a gauntlet, it's never about who is the best wrestler. It's about who gets the luckiest draw, who comes out last.
yeah,
I hate
yeah.
that. Like, oh, that's. I wish it would have been like if there are. You said there are 6 dudes. I wish it would have been a 6-way elimination match.
See, that would have been cool.
Because
That would have been
that's like
cool.
to me, that's when it's like, okay, now it really is like it's fucking survival, baby.
Yes.
But no,
Yes.
it's just gonna be the order of it is gonna be the thing that determines who wins.
Now, let me just talk about the guys that are in this for a second here and just kind of set the scene, okay? So, the
Oh
six
God, I
men,
remember Ricochet was in it. I heard
well,
that.
yeah, you couldn't miss him with all the sheen on that bald. Ricochet, Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke, and JD for reasons I don't
Wait, my
understand.
mom was talking in my one ear while you were saying those names, and I didn't catch all of them. I heard Ricochet. I heard JD. Ew. I heard Sammy. Did you say Jay Uso?
No.
Why is Jay Uso not in this?
Yeah, especially because he got screwed, but that's because he has to face his twin at WrestleMania. Um, so no, just to reprise for everybody, it's Chad Gable, Sami
Gable,
Zayn,
Sammy,
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed is in this.
Yes.
Fucking is Ivar in it too?
No.
Okay, then who am I missing? I have
Shinsuke.
Nakamura. Okay,
So
good
yeah.
lord. So it's gonna come down basically to Sammy. My brain is just not functioning right now. Who else is in it? Fuck. Okay, let me recalibrate. Okay, JD can fuck off. He's not doing shit.
I don't even know why
Ricochet.
he's in this.
No, it makes no fucking sense why he's in this. Ricochet feels like filler. I don't know why he's in it either, frankly. Bronson Reed is unfortunately a contender. He might win. Sami Zayn is the top contender in my mind. Nakamura and who else?
Have you talked about Gable already? Because Gable to
Gable.
me is the only
Gable
other
is the
top
other one.
contender.
So Zayn and Gable are the top 2 contenders. I would consider Bronson Reed and Nakamura the dark horses, and then McDonough and Ricochet are the fuck offs.
See, God. See, look, it's not that you said anything wrong. I feel like I agree with you more or less completely. My conflict is, oh, fuck. Because obviously I want Sammy at Mania. Really wanted him to be a part of the world title picture, but that wasn't going to happen. And it's not the worst thing. Drew's been killing it. But, I really didn't want Sammy to encroach on this because, as I have said repeatedly on my side of things, Sammy isn't going to surpass his heel work with the IC title to me. Like, I get that you're, the underdog and you're lovable and this and that. People want to see you be a champion. I want to see you be a champion, but like, been there, done that, my dude.
I have a
Like,
question. Why are you saying heel work specifically?
well, because he was a heel Intercontinental. When he was Intercontinental champion, he was a heel. And
Has
like,
he ever been a face Intercontinental Champion?
no, but I don't think he can surpass the stuff for me. I'm speaking for me. I don't think he could surpass what he did as a heel with that IC title if he wins as a babyface. Because like that was when he was the whole conspiracy gimmick and everything else, and I feel like that
Right.
was one of the best gimmicks at the time.
So you just feel like because he was so incredible as a heel champion, it's not he's like just above the title and even trying to do a
Yeah,
babyface run isn't even worth it.
yeah. That's honestly how I feel. Yeah, I feel like you've done your stuff with the IC title. I don't really care to see it again, and more importantly, I really wanted this to be Chad's moment, honestly. I think the dude's been putting the work in forever now. I think he is so fucking believable when you see how he can deadlift big guys. Like, unlike, see, because here's the thing I know you don't care for Ilya. And I know you feel like Ilya beating a guy like Gunther was always like borderline blasphemous. I'll ask you, do you feel that way about Chad? Or if Chad were to beat Gunther, would you find that believable?
I think just because we've seen the raw power of Gable and that he can deadlift guys bigger than even Gunther, I think that there is an air of believability to it. It's just a little stretchy, just a little.
But you know what though? Still though, I feel like you're giving him more
And
grace and
you
more
know
of a
what? I'll
pass.
even say because we've seen Gunther beat him so many times,
Yeah,
there's always the one match. There's all like because that's the thing is like there's always like even if you lose 99 times out of 100, there's always that one, right? Well, maybe
yeah,
that one for Gable can be at Mania.
yeah,
Like if they were to have a rematch, I would want Gunther to win the rematch. I wouldn't want Gable to retain. I would want Gunther to beat him and like really establish like, no, your beating me was a fucking fluke. I hope you enjoyed your moment in the sun, but the title's mine. I'm the dominant one. You know what I mean?
yeah. And that's kind of brings to more of a meta question about the Triple H era because we're in the midst of so many long title reigns. But like, are we ever going to get back to? And I'm not saying this is a complaint; it's genuinely an open question. Are we ever going to get back to short title reigns? Because these long title reigns have to be punctuated eventually.
I think it's
That
healthy to have like a majority of your title reigns be longer with a healthy sprinkling of shorter ones just to change it up.
yeah. I mean, I'm
Like I
yeah.
I think that if Triple H would literally just decide to randomly have like one or two titles get hot shotted, like change hands once or twice over the course of like 3 months, that would freshen things up enough for me.
Right.
And I don't mean any titles. I mean specifically like big titles, like world level titles, like the Universal or the World or the one of the two main women's singles titles, like one of the main, or even the IC. I think is like on that level at this point. One of those main big time titles would have to change hands like flip flop, like hot potato a little bit. And I'm not saying it would have to in the sense that like no, you have to do this to make things interesting, but like again, if Gable would win the title, I would fully be like not even just down, but like enthusiastically like screaming from the rooftops. He should lose it to the first heel contender that feels like a big deal that challenges him for it. Whether it is Gunther or Bronson Reed or like, whoever the fuck. If a big, scary, you know, intimidating heel contender comes along and says, I want your title, Gable, he should fucking lose it and he should despair over it and it should be a sympathetic babyface moment for him because that's how you build baby faces. That's how you make people love baby faces is by having them go through toil.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think I more or less agree with you. Um, yeah, I've really got nothing to add to that. Trying to think of anything else that's actually worth talking about because we know Judgment Day beating
Bailey,
Tyrion, but
honestly, Bailey's another one.
yeah, Bailey is another one. Yeah.
If Bailey wins from the title from Io, and if someone like Bianca or even maybe even like a Jade were to come along afterwards and I think Bianca would make more sense because Bianca could come along and be like, listen, I'm happy for you that you got your moment, but you put me through hell. Fuck you. I want the title.
Yeah.
I would not have a problem at all with Bianca winning that title because Bailey got her a moment. Bailey got her the catharsis. Bailey got to quote unquote finish her story. I would be fine with Bianca beating her for the title, even if it was in like May. You know what I mean?
Bro, it's so funny that you've been like, just because of your sleep schedule and everything, that you've been checked out some stuff and you don't remember some stuff because some of the remarks you're making, like you asking, is Ivar in the gauntlet? No, but they actually made that a narrative point on Raw because Ivar would confront Sammy backstage and he more or less said, I can't understand why I'm not in the gauntlet and you are. I mean, he
I
said it in
don't
more
get
of an
it either.
insulting
Yeah.
way, but like he said it in a more insulting way. But then Sammy's like, oh, yeah, well, why don't I prove why I'm in the gauntlet in the ring with you tonight? Kind of thing. And they had a
And then he beat
match
him.
and then he beat him. Yeah. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's why I'm in it. Um, and then
Yeah.
Bronson attacked him afterwards. But then you mentioning Bailey and stuff like we'll get to that because there might actually be something interesting happening with Bianca. I don't know. I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
but then
I know. I was kind
yeah,
of like rolling off of what happened on Friday. But another example, Cody himself, Darth Chodius himself,
yeah,
assuming he beats Roman for the title, he finished his story. He doesn't need a long fucking reign. He should hold the title until SummerSlam at the absolute latest and drop it to fucking Gunther. Gunther should absolutely be the one to beat Cody for that title, and he should devastate his fucking dreams. He should squash him Lesnar Cena SummerSlam 2013 style.
Yeah, I mean, you just got so passionate there. I mean, I don't even really want to add anything, but I will just say for my 2 cents, Cody owes Gunther this for eliminating him 2 straight years in the fucking Royal Rumble. Fuck you,
Oh
dude.
my god, I
Like,
didn't even know he did that. Oh my god,
well,
that's
remember,
just
2 years ago it was him and Gunther for Cody to win, and then when it
oh,
was the
that's
final four,
right.
Cody eliminated Gunther again.
Oh my, yeah, no,
You owe
then
him
yeah,
this, Codius.
doubling down for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, you fucking owe him this. And you know what? DBK makes a great point. If you don't want to do it at SummerSlam, do it in Berlin in front of Gunther's people because they'll
then
actually know
that's
what to
even
look for.
better. Do it. Yeah, well, dude, I'm scared if they would have that match be in Berlin that Cody would just retain though.
Oh my god, that's such a WWE thing to do. Hey, we know this means a lot to you, to be in front of your people and everything, but fuck you.
Bro, but isn't that what they did to Drew with
Yeah,
Roman?
yeah,
That's
they did.
literally
Yeah,
what they did to
yeah,
Drew.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh
Are
my god.
there any fucking famous Austrian or German boxers that can come out and serenade the crowd with Gunther afterwards?
Probably, but I don't know them offhand. You watch though. WWE is gonna like go against their own rules for the worst reasons. They're gonna have Corbin win his first world title in fucking Paris because they love Corbin there.
I forget. Is it Money in the Bank that's in Paris this year?
Um, DDK, is it? Because I feel like you would know. But
Or
I'm
is that
not.
the Austria show? Or not
That.
Austria, but Berlin.
I don't think it's the Berlin show. No. Backlash. Backlash, seemingly. Oh, yeah, Backlash. Because okay, if I'm understanding these messages right between Casper and Super Blue, Money in the Bank is in Toronto, but then Backlash is the Berlin show. Okay. Oh, and Money in the Bank is in yeah, okay. Money in the Bank is in Canada. Okay. Um, so yeah, all that's happening. And then yeah, I guess the only other thing to talk about is Drew versus Jey Uso. I thought this was a solid matchup, and yeah, Drew at one point he tossed Jay on the
Uh,
floor and looked in the camera and
Jay.
was like, "No yeet." And I was like, yeah, assert that girth.
Drew is such a classic shit poster. I love this man.
Dude, he's literally perfect. I'm done debating. I'm done. Like, everybody wants to have a discourse today, especially about meaningless shit. Oh, but this is the reason why I think this is better. I don't care. I don't care. This man is our
Say it
world champion.
harder.
Um, I don't care.
Thank you.
Shut your goddamn face hole. If I wanted your opinion, I would tell it to you because I'm greater than you, which is
No, he
essentially what Drew is telling everyone else, and he's not even wrong. If Drew would come up to you and say, you know what, I don't like your face, I love your face, but I'm not going to disagree with the man. I'd be like, well, it could be main event, but it's pretty mid card right now, and that's just the way it is. One of my favorite lines on China, Illinois, a very underrated animated show. We need a perfect in our pack of regulars, or we'd all be lost. This man is the fucking perfect to our regulars, and I'm happy he's here. I feel so assured when I wake up now that the Raw World title is going to be in good hands when it gets off of Seth's fucking let me get involved in everything because I need to suck the teat of relevance ass. Um,
I mean, it
so
is the island of relevancy, no?
yeah, you're damn right it is. And we're gonna have plenty to say about that because you were talking about Rock's like Twitter promo being homophobic coded. Roman's got you there, fam, because he definitely threw some shade at Rollins, and I'm like, is that
He
really the best
literally
one?
called him a cross dresser.
I'm like, oof, Roman. I have stand your title reign harder than anybody, and I still do ultimately. But Jesus Christ, my dude, like, read
You're
the fucking
lucky
room.
you're playing a heel on television because that was bad.
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely bad. And somebody was like, "Oh, thank God you guys weren't around during the Attitude Era." That doesn't make it okay. Like, why does everybody think that what isn't a flex is a flex? Like, work your shit out. Uh, but yeah, ultimately, Drew beats Jey Uso again, thanks to the twin Jimmy Uso and No Yeet indeed. And they were gonna continue the beatdown and Cody came out and he stopped Solo, and then that's when Jimmy came out, and that was the whole thing.
You know,
And
John, I've
then,
noticed that you get really enthusiastic about telling some people to simmer down. How enthusiastic would you be if you got to tell that to Jimmy Uso?
um, yeah, I'd say pretty enthused,
Yeah,
cause
because
like,
I've never wanted to tell anyone to simmer down harder than I've wanted to tell Jimmy fucking Uso's unloyal, disloyal ass.
I'm also like not in the best place, just given the world crumbling and just being sick. So I really feel like I would go in on Jimmy even unnecessarily because I would want to sit
There's no
him
such
down.
thing.
I would want to sit
It's
him down.
necessary.
I would want to sit him down, look him dead in the eye, and tell him, "You're a fucking twin. All right? Just accept your lot in life, accept that your brother Jay is better than you, and he's going to go on and he's going to win a world title. And just be grateful for the little spot that you got. It's a cute little spot for you. You do pretty well. Stop meddling in main event business." And yeah, so obviously, yes, it is Foster. I actually watched that clip last night. Holy fucking shit! The idea that you make that reference. Um, but yeah, I'm actually starting to feel bad for Jey Uso, man, because the dude can't catch a fucking break. This dude is so close to winning titles, getting main event caliber victories, all this stuff, and every time it's like I'm gonna beat Jimmy Uso, and I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna ruin everything. It's like what the fuck? Like every fucking time for this fucking dude. When will it end? Are you all
I'm gonna beat Jimmy Uso.
right? Yeah, yeah. Well, 'cause fuck.
I don't
And
know why that struck me so funny. I just imagine him with that goofy ass grin, swinging his arms back and forth. I'm gonna beat Jimmy Uso.
you know what, Jimmy? The hard truth is your last name may be Uso, but your conduct isn't very Usy right now.
No, no, it's
Fuck.
not. Holy shit, my eyes are actually watering from laughing too hard.
Oh my god. I feel like I started the pop, but then you took it the rest of the way and popped yourself. It's kind of amazing,
You,
actually.
you were the catalyst without any doubt.
Yeah. Um, but no, I feel bad for Jay, man. And then afterwards, Seth comes out to help, and then he brushes right. Dude, I love this camera shot because he brushes right past Drew, and Drew just looks at him like, "Am I being ignored? Are you ignoring me? I
How
will not be
fucking
ignored, Seth."
dare thee?
And then he kind of clears the ring, but then Drew comes back in from behind. He hits a beautiful fucking claymore.
A classic Claymore, truly.
Oh my god, it was excellent. And
Classic
then
and classy, like Drusuf.
exactly. See, you get it. You get everything.
I
He just
try.
gets in Seth's face and he's like, I'm begging you, Seth, like, just focus on the title. Because if you don't, like, this is what's gonna happen. And you see, and Drew is like holding the championship. He's like, don't disgrace the title and this and that, and then he
True.
leaves.
It is so true, though. Seth is so fucking focused on Dwayne and Roman's island of relevancy that he's totally overlooking the real biggest threat in his life, which is Drusuf.
Yeah. And dude, I have to say this too, since we're here and we're kind of in this pocket where we're turned up. Foster is so right too. Seth gets laid out and still no cash in. Like Judgment Day is in their clubhouse. They're watching this and they're
On
like,
tender rights.
"Oh my God, Damian, this is it. He's out. Drew's gone. Show's over. You can cash in. We could go into WrestleMania with the world title. We could upend the entire picture." No.
Bro, I feel like Damien fell asleep at some point throughout the show. And they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, where's Damien? We gotta find him." And then they find him, and he's just laying back. And they're like, "You know what? We better not wake him up. He gets cranky when he gets woken up from his naps. It's a shame."
I'm pretty sure he's also cranky when he's not world champ. Why can't more people be like 2005
No, no,
Edge?
because see, they've taken hints from him. He's given them every reason in the world to believe that he has several priorities that he values over being world champion.
Oh God. This is why I miss characters like 2005 Edge who would have speared their own mother to be the world champion. Like
I'm
watching
pretty
that man.
sure Edge would have literally brought a grandparent back to life only to be able to spear them if it would have meant getting a world title.
Hell, spear. He would have fucking concertoed them if it
Yes.
was like, give me the one. Like, I still go back to this day and I watch his promo where like he doesn't lose the triple threat, but it had that controversial finish between him, Benoit, and Triple H, where the title ended up being vacated for the Chamber that year at New Year's Revolution. And he's like, and the idea that all of you are fine with the fact that I'm not world champion, that makes you all a disgrace. It makes me, and I'm like, yes, Edge, be toxic, be unhinged, don't get help because you only get help when you're in the wrong and you're so fucking right. I need people to care about actually succeeding at any cost. And Damien has got this contract. And he's just like, nah, 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 it's not the right time. When is it, motherfucker? When is it? God. LA Knight wouldn't have done shit, Super Blue. Simmer down. Um,
You know, it's funny because wasn't LA Knight literally in the Money in the Bank match that Damian Priest fucking won to get this briefcase in the first place?
yeah, it's funny what failures do.
Yeah,
And
it's really
fail.
hilarious that you say he would have cashed it in because he had an opportunity to cash it in, except, he failed to win it in the first place.
Dude, every time Super Blue like comes on Sport of LA Knight, it just makes me so much prouder of what Alan did. I'm like, slacks forever, honestly.
Wait, what did Alan do
But
specifically that you're proud of him for?
well, screwing LA Knight Elimination Chamber with like flying across the world just
Oh,
to bludgeon it with a
yeah, that
fucking
was
chair.
pretty legendary. You're right.
I mean, after that, I'm like, Alan, the world is whatever it is you want it to be geometrically, my man. If it's flat, fuck for one night, it's fucking flat. But with that said, we can go on to SmackDown actually, and again, not much to say. Let's just start with the big tag team promo here. Um,
The big tag team promo?
Rock and Roman,
Oh,
and,
the
and
main event, the thing that closed the
yeah,
show.
yeah, because yeah, the only thing that really caught me was Rock stressing you'll never get another shot at this, which makes you think like, oh fuck, because I've been promising this deranged
That's what
prediction.
stood out the most. Oh, okay. I have something to say then. I want to let you finish, but then I
Well,
have
well,
something
beyond,
to say.
beyond Roman being disrespectful, of course, but I didn't know if we
Of
wanted to say
course.
anything else about that. But just him being like, yeah, if this doesn't have, like, you'll never get another shot. And I'm like, fuck, because I've promised all of you a really deranged prediction for WrestleMania. So what I might do is, if I do change my mind, if I sober up before then, I'll tell you guys what I was thinking
Yeah,
and separate that from
please.
my actual pick. But I may also just double down. I am me. That's a very high likelihood of happening.
It's
Um,
all true.
but yes, thank you. Thank you for vouching what my own face does. I appreciate it because sometimes I don't know. But what were you
That was for
thinking?
them, not you.
Okay, fair enough. But what were you thinking though? Because I'm actually very curious what stood out to you.
Dude, Cody looked very unhappy with Seth for accepting on his behalf.
Yeah. Also, does kind of play back into my prediction. Oh, I can't wait to get to preview predictions because I'm gonna go so mask off and I'm gonna disappoint so many of you,
Oh
and I can't
no!
wait.
You could never disappoint us.
Oh no, I'm gonna be all of your fathers with how disappointed you all are in me in a
No,
moment that really
no.
counts.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Christian fucking wishes he'd be me in this moment. But no, like
No.
I really have been thinking of some like wild conjecture and little moments like that are why. But I again, this is your time. I want to hear what you read, if anything, into that
Oh
exchange.
no.
You think like,
I just, it's one of those things where it kind of makes me wonder a little bit if maybe Sethington has some past alliances that maybe he's a little more loyal to than we're giving him credit for.
yeah, yeah, we'll. That's a great point, man. I didn't even really take much stock of the look or whatever, but I mean, the bloodline certainly did because they're trying to sow the seeds of dissension. And then Cody gets
Because
his
we
little.
also know that if nothing else, Seth is a company guy.
Yes,
I
yes, he
mean,
is.
Seth in his past, not only has he been literal brothers with Roman Reigns, he's referred to him as brother several times in the past. They were part of the Shield. They were as close as family can get. Family, being important in this match. But he's also literally been an underling of the fucking authority.
Yeah, yeah, I mean Seth, he's such a company guy. Like if a union would ever start in WWE, you can count on Seth to curb stomp it. I think. Be like, no, guys, it's great working here. There's no problem. And in kayfabe, like absolutely, he's always curried favor with power. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
And
just
who in grasping distance is the most powerful person in the ring? Sure as hell ain't Cody.
actually, it might even be. I was gonna say Roman Reigns, but I mean, The Rock is on
It's
that TKO board.
Dwayne. It's
Yeah,
definitely Dwayne.
yeah. Oh man, fucking Seth.
Oh my god. So
But
yeah, there's just a lot going on there, and I'm very curious to see how it plays out for sure. And that's the other thing too, is that DBK makes a good point that Cody wanted the singles match with Dwayne. He wanted to go one on one with The Rock at Mania, and he was
yeah, true.
upset that Seth was willing to accept a tag team match on Cody's behalf that Cody never asked for.
Yeah, Seth's like, that sounds like a good idea for a match. Only one problem: it doesn't have enough me in it.
Yeah,
So
it
like,
also does feel like Seth, even if it's not like some like conspiracy where Seth is like going behind Cody's back and gonna be loyal to The Rock or Roman or whatever the fuck. It could be as simple as Cody's angry at Seth for accepting that match because Cody didn't want that match, and now Seth. It just seems like Seth is trying to insert himself into the biggest angle of WrestleMania to raise his own profile and raise the profile of the title that he has.
yes, yes. Um,
He's
so
grifting basically.
yes, Seth Grifter Rollins for sure. Now I want to take this opportunity before we talk about anything cool and interesting and that makes me happy to be a wrestling fan. I have to be a boomer for 2 seconds, and I say two
Oh
seconds,
boy.
obviously in jest. It's probably going to be longer than that. Talk about something that I hated. I'm going to be honest. Hate the fucking Prime logo in the middle of the ring. I saw that and I fucking winced. And that's why I said I'm a boomer. Like I know that I'm probably gonna be like, oh John, you're alone on this. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of it, but it just I
You
know
know,
capitalism is everywhere, but when you shove it so overtly in my face in my fucking wrestling and my escapism, it's like Jesus fucking Christ.
okay, okay, but hear me out. You're supposed to fucking hate it.
I know, but like if it's for every PLE, even now I'm guessing Logan Paul will probably be on every PLE, which in a way is fair. Like he did sign a new deal and he does seem to be more committed. But like you couldn't just do the fucking corners. It really had to be the center of the fucking ring. God, like, and you know what too? Like and we have to keep acknowledging this because hey, if we acknowledge everybody else, we got to keep that energy. Logan Paul was such a piece of shit. Didn't he even
Yeah.
scam people recently. That he's still in that controversy. That he scam
I
people over
have
some shit.
no idea, but you're probably not wrong. If you heard about it, you're probably right about it.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ.
He lives the gimmick,
Again,
brother. He lives the gimmick.
yeah, yeah, God. It's hard because I want to give him his due credit. Like he is solid in there. He's actually a great worker, just in the way that matters. He gets heat. He does solid stuff in the ring.
This was a
But
great
like,
promo from him on
God,
Friday night.
do you have to be such a fucking hemorrhoid? Like, fuck, just fuck me. I hate this fucking dude. Like, I don't
Just
blame
a
anybody that
blood
doesn't like.
clot on the asshole of society.
Look, I don't blame anybody say that doesn't like me. I'm a pretty unlikable guy when you get down to brass tacks, but Jesus Christ. Like this fucking dude. God, he's insufferable. But I know that's the point. But here's the thing, bro. There's getting heat. And then it's like, and I know you're making money. And this, I think it's just for me, it's more of a political critique than a critique of Logan because I don't like this new modulation of capitalism we're seeing where like everything is an ad. And South Park talked about this years ago with that episode where like
Yeah.
everything's an ad. This article that you think but it's gotten worse. What we're seeing is an intensification of that very problem because now it's like an ad within an ad. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. I really, really don't like it. I really, really don't like it. I saw it and I'm like, oh my God. Like somebody even made a great joke where they posted a picture of Gunther like by that ring and they're like, the mat is no longer sacred. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's been utterly defiled by corporate fucking greed. And it already was kind of a symbol of corporate fucking greed. It was a simulation of gladiatorial games to make money for a fucking billionaire that doesn't give a shit if they live or die. So it was already bad, and now they're just being even more overt about it. So that's something that happened. But yeah, the promo
What'd
was
you think of the
solid.
promo?
I mean, it was solid enough. Again, he's not bad at this. Like if I'm being fair, because look, there's measured criticism and then there's going overboard. And in our time together, I have done my fair share of both. He's good at what he does. I just wish he wasn't such a piece of shit while he does it. That's it. Um,
How'd you think? How'd you think he handled the what chance?
I mean, again, remember, I only watched YouTube clips, so I might have even missed that part. So I'll turn that question back on you. Did you
Oh,
feel like he?
Oh my god, dude! I was so impressed.
How did he handle it?
So at first he just tried addressing them to get them to stop. It was like, I know y'all aren't going to keep doing that, and then they kept doing it, and he said, "Man, y'all suck." And then he tried to just kind of fight through it and kind of embrace it, like time it so that they could say what, and then he could say his thing, and they could say what, and he could say his thing, and then he realized that that was going to fuck up his promo. So he legitimately changed up the rhythm of how he was talking so that he would prevent them from being able to get the what's in, and it completely shut him down. I was so
Nice.
impressed. Like he literally had tactics in his mind of like, okay, here's how to do this, here's how to, and I don't think he even planned it ahead of time. I think he just kind of naturally figured out ways to handle it like on the fly, and
Yeah.
he landed on one that worked, and they stopped doing it. It was fucking incredible in my mind.
And again, that shows his aptitude for this, and I will never take that away from him because it
It might
shows.
even just be an aptitude for public speaking,
Yeah,
because like at the end of the day, you probably have similar tactics for handling like hecklers in
yeah,
general,
yeah, for
but
sure, for
it's
sure.
still fucking impressive in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's like adjusting on the fly, and that's
Yeah.
something that like you can rehearse
And
so
to
much
me,
of a
that
match.
is like the number one underrated skill in pro wrestling.
Well, I think it's almost like I forgot. Like you hear wrestlers today talk about how like you don't really see it called in the ring anymore.
Yeah.
Like you see just so many people like rehearse their stuff beforehand and
Yeah.
rehearse stuff beforehand. I think the people that have the ability to adjust organically to call stuff in the ring, this and that, that's what separates the wheat from the chaff, the good from the greats. And Logan Paul has the potential to be great. I hate to fucking say it. My stomach wants to fucking stab me from inside for saying it, but he's again got a lot of natural gift for this.
I think that's why
Um,
I loved Stardom, like why I was so drawn to Stardom when we first started watching it, because like they do shows once or twice a week, sometimes up to 3 or 4 times a week. I think we've even seen a week where they did 5 or 6 shows, and like you don't have time to rehearse that shit.
no, you don't.
That shit, like when you have the shows that close together, that shit has to be called in the ring. And for it to still be as good as it is, and for it to still look as natural as it does, that's just so impressive to me.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Um, yeah, I mean, then Orton, KSI actually gets invited by Logan. It's like, oh, come on down, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And then
I never thought I'd see the day that KSI of all people would be standing in the middle of a WWE ring.
yeah, I know. Again, it's just the oldie in me, what I grew up on and everything, and
He's
seeing
not
like
as
people
much
like
of a piece
Logan.
of shit as Logan, is he?
No, I don't really know anything about him, so I can't say. It's
Yeah,
just
I've
again,
heard at least decent things about him. Like he seems relatively wholesome from what I've seen.
well, that's good because I imagine anybody in Logan Paul's orbit, you're gonna get a little bit corrupted eventually.
Yeah, well,
Um,
to be fair, that's the thing. Is like they are business partners, so obviously, I mean, if Logan was scamming people, I have a hard time imagining that he wasn't at least somewhat aware of it, if not downright in on
yeah, KSI just can't be like, you were doing what next to my nose? Because normally it's like under my nose, but it's like, no, I saw it. I know what happened. Um, but yeah, Orton RKO's him. A lot was made about this RKO. WWE
solid
even
sell.
imploded. Yeah, well, it was a solid sell. It was a great sell. Yeah, I that I can say. I thought came off really well. Um, so yeah, that was good.
And then afterwards, Orton taking a sip of the Prime Energy and being like, "This is actually very good," before pouring it on
Yeah,
KSI to make it look like he pissed himself.
yeah, yeah. Funny. But it was a good it was a good RKO. Clearly, Orton wants to get his hands on Logan Paul, as does Kevin Owens. We know has unresolved issues with him.
Kevin
Then we get
Owens
it.
has a lot of unresolved issues with a lot of people.
You know what? I think Kevin Owens needs a hug, and he needs to know that he needs to just keep fighting. Because I'm loving KO right now, and honestly, I like his ire for Logan Paul because I'm living through Kevin Owens. So again, I'm definitely getting worked. Their tag match with Theory and Waller was pretty solid. Love the pop up RKO, and I love too that if they were ever to like make it a serious tag team, it's just RKO, Randy Kevin Owens. It's perfect. Don't even have to fucking change anything. So yeah, they got the win. Then we get Bailey's interview. What did you think about this Bailey interview that they did, bro?
She did a really good job of coming off as sympathetic, but I enjoyed even more the dichotomy between Naomi and Bianca afterwards.
Yes. Now let me ask you straight up. Do you think this is going to be similar to like a Jey Uso situation where like Bianca may ultimately come to forgive Bailey like Kevin
I
did
hope
with Jay?
not.
Yeah.
I
You just
really hope she doesn't. I hope that Bianca stays on Bailey's neck because Bailey and Damage Control put her through hell for like 2 years.
yeah. Now, here's the other question though, because I actually agree with you. I feel like that's the more realistic human reaction, right? Do you think they could do it though without turning Bianca heel? Because Bailey is so
That's
beloved. I
I
don't.
hope so, but I have my doubts.
I have them too, and that's kind of what makes me worried, is
And
because
that sucks.
the fans took Bailey back instantly, dude.
Yeah.
And so
They've been
Bianca's
wanting to cheer for her for so long.
absolutely, and so Bianca sticking to her principles, however justified, and let's be perfectly clear on this podcast, we find it to be incredibly justified.
Yeah.
Um, Fans may not agree, but then again, if I'm Bianca, I'm looking at the fan. Well, to be fair, fans also came to her defense with like, "We love you, Bianca," but we know that she dealt with some racist vitriol this week,
Yeah.
and then other fans clapped back and they got "We love you, Bianca" in top 10 trends. So you know, I don't know. Bianca may just be like, "Look, y'all feel how you want to feel. I said what I said," and just kind of keep that energy. And you know what? I'd be cool with it. Be like,
I
yeah,
hope it doesn't lead to a Naomi versus Bianca thing.
no,
Like I hope that they don't get like a situation where Naomi decides to team with Bailey and finds herself on the opposite side of something involving Bianca,
yeah,
because I think that would be a really unfortunate situation. I want them to have good vibes with each other and not go against each other.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
But
Um,
yeah, it's difficult to navigate because people want to root for Bailey really badly and they really want Bailey to be a baby face and they want to cheer for her, but she has 2 years of damage control damages to basically amend for.
right.
And
Um,
she's made zero effort to do that so far at all.
and that's just it. Like these heels that turn babyface after a long heel run, like I really do want to see a story where there is a kind of redemption happening, a kind of restitution happening to the locker room. Oh, hey, I wronged you in this, let me help with this. And sometimes it goes wrong because progress isn't a straight line. That's what I thought they were going to tell with KO a few years ago. And you know how disheartened I was when they just abandoned that. And they're like, no, he's just going to say fuck it and be heel. It's like, no, show the struggle of being better than what you once were, because everybody goes through it. Can't tell you how many posts I see today where people are like, I wish I was stronger. I wish I was kinder. I wish. And like wrestling, I think, has a real power to reflect that in people like Bailey, who were wayward for so long, but the fans just wanted to always love her. And now that she has that love, what are you going to do with it? Not just for yourself, but for everybody you hurt along the way. And I think a character like Bailey is perfect to tell that kind of story. Will they? I have my doubts, but I agree with you. I felt like Bianca's reaction was very human, very understandable, and especially her clap back to Naomi. And I love Naomi. Naomi didn't say anything wrong, but she told Naomi you weren't here. So it's easy for you to take that position when you weren't a part of it. Just like it's easy for somebody like you see all the crises that were going on in the world to take a quote unquote more humanitarian, like almost centrist point of view, but it's like you're not suffering. You're not doing this or that. And so Bianca, I think, had a very realistic reaction. And I'm curious how they're going to, telegraph that in the writing and everything else. Um, so again, because we're not a recap show, I am not going to talk about Lashley carrying Cross. Although I will say the only thing worth mentioning is that in a SmackDown exclusive, carrying Cross, I think, tried to sow the seeds of dissension by saying that maybe Montez should be the leader. I've been wanting Montez to get a singles push for a while now. I don't know if we're already going to break up this faction, but Jesus Christ, can we just get a Black Excellence faction that doesn't just dissolve in like a month or a few months? Um, I really didn't want New Day to be an anomaly. I wanted them to be a new standard, and I don't think WWE really got the memo. Um, let's see. There was that. Oh, well, here's something to talk about a little bit. Fucking Dragon Lee versus Angel Garza. And Dragon Lee wins after like kind of a Frankenstein type maneuver to Angel getting the pin,
Not
but then
happy.
they beat down Dragon Lee afterwards. It was a brutal beatdown.
Still not happy that Dragon Lee got the win in the first place to begin with.
Yeah, I agree with you only because Dragon Lee really hasn't done much on the main roster. And like I feel like LDF, you got to keep him hot, especially with Ray being back. And
Yeah. Also, the backstage segment that we got uh, that led to this match was fucking weird.
I did not see this. Can you contextualize this for me?
It was literally just LDF picking on Dragon Lee while he stood there and then later sat there and took it. He did literally nothing. He didn't say anything. He didn't even attempt to fight back. He was just standing there while Electra and then Humberto and then Santos and then eventually Angel insulted him and then pushed him and then insulted him further. And he just didn't do anything at all. He was just standing there like a fucking robot. And then after they pushed him, he got pushed off his feet and landed on his ass. And then he was just sitting there and did nothing and just took it and just waited. Like it was literally like someone just told him to just not react, and that's all he did.
Yeah. That's awkward. But I guess now that Dragon Lee's probably going to join up with Ray and stuff to do this. I guess that's kind of what's being telegraphed there. So cool, I guess. That's going to happen. One thing I did skip over, I did enjoy Allen's pre-taped promo on LA Knight, pretty much just saying, he's been around a long time. He's seen guys like Knight come and go. And he's looking forward to giving Knight more phenomenal beatdowns. And then LA Knight, because this is clearly proving a point, destroys the television with the same steel chair he's been wanting to give AJ. What a flex, my dude. Way to flex. And pretty sure you looked pretty winded after those chair shots to the TV, but what do I know? So yeah, rooting for Allen all the way on that. And that's essentially it because we already talked about the tag team promo. So that's it for the week. And yeah, so next segment, did you watch any extracurriculars this week?
Um, no, I did not.
Neither did I. I've been going through it this week. And just,
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff going on. So with that, let's open up the forum to Q&A questions. Talk to us, people. What's going on? What questions do you have about this week in the world of wrestling? Let's see. Super Blue wants a chair match between AJ. That thought did cross my mind, but I don't think it's going to happen. Foster asked thoughts on GYV and Ali joining forces. Foster, I wish I could give you more of a substantive answer because I'm not watching TNA at the moment, but that's a really cool fucking faction to me, just
It
on its
is.
face. Like, I kind of pop for that internally reading that. I don't know, Ashton. What do you think about that? You think it's a good mix,
It's
Ali and
pretty cool.
GYV?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
not as cool as Foster's face though. And then thank you for asking that question. Um, Caster Sales. What do you think of heel versus heel matches like Samoa Joe versus Wardlow? When you've got something like the world title at stake, I'm more forgiving of it. And plus, it's not so much heel versus heel to me, even though that is true. It's more of just a Haas fight. So I'm willing to look the other way on this. I'm cool with it.
I'm not the
What about
biggest
you,
fan
Ash?
of it personally. I think it's lazy booking. It just feels to me like Tony Khan booked himself into a corner where it was like, oh, I want to book Wardlow to be a world title contender, but oopsie, I have a heel world champion. I guess I just have to do the match anyway. Oh well.
I guess the only kind of out that I'd be willing to give them is there is a tenuous narrative thread in that it was the Undisputed Kingdom that helped Joe get the title in the first place by softening MJF up. So it's almost like they're coming to collect. But
Oh yeah,
ultimately,
no, you're right.
yeah,
The problem is though, I thought that storyline sucked too.
yeah,
That made like
I, yeah.
why the fuck would they want Joe to win the title? Why would they prefer Joe have the title fresh off of winning it brand new off of Maxwell than to keep the title on Maxwell, but he's emotionally devastated now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. I agree with you. So I can't even offer any kind of a rebuttal. No, I
Yeah,
just
no, it's just
yeah,
Tony Khan's writing is just, I would say it was in the mud, but that would be an insult to worms.
that's worms are great, man. Fucking Stan worms. But Super Blue, how do you feel about the nonsense of the New Japan Cup so far? I don't, because I haven't been keeping up with it because I'm at least able to safeguard 5% of my mental health per week. So fuck yeah,
I'm
I don't even know what's
so
happening.
fucking proud of you. This is the one, and well, probably one of more than one, but this is one definitive advantage to you not being in the Discord as much. I'm definitely overexposed because I get to see Curtis update everyone on the New Japan Cup every time he does it.
Well, then let me ask: Is anybody advanced that I would give a shit about?
No.
Wow, wow, New
To be
Japan.
fair, he doesn't tell us everyone who advances. He only tells us the egregious shit that happens. Like I think David Finlay beat Ishii.
You know what's so funny though,
Or
dude,
no,
is that
actually, it's worse. Chase Owens beat Ishii.
but you know what's so funny, dude, is that we've been so checked out with New Japan for so long, I don't even feel anything anymore.
I
Like, you
know,
tell me that, and
same.
I'm like,
Yeah,
"Cool,
like
yeah,
he's all like
whatever."
up in arms, like, oh my god, Ghetto booked Chase Owens to beat Ishii, and I'm just like, bro, Ishii is washed
Yeah,
and
like, he's
hasn't won anything in like 4 years at this point. Who cares anymore?
yeah, he's not the best bout machine that he used to be, which, when somebody did say in a gif of an Ishii versus Kenny Omega match, like, oh, it's the best bout machine in Kenny Omega, I'm like, yeah, facts. But Ishii hasn't been that guy in a while, mainly because the booking hasn't justified him being that guy in a long time. So, like, no, I'm dead inside. I don't feel anything anymore. It's great. Go ahead, New Japan. Put the title back on Evil. I don't give a fuck. So yeah,
Yeah,
I just
this is
haven't
the
been keeping up with it.
first year ever since we discovered New Japan that we didn't watch at all. Uh, Wrestle Kingdom, we just skipped it entirely.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too, man. We deserved a break.
We deserved a break, and to be honest, just looking at where New Japan is still going, because they have some promising stuff going on. I don't want to be disingenuous, but let's be honest, it's probably going to take a long time for it to reap fruit. That I'm like, no, we're just doing the right thing. Could there come a day where we get back into New Japan? I can honestly see it, but I think it's pretty far off personally because they just drag their fucking feet on everything. So let's get back to questions. Caster Sales, how would you feel after Cody wins at Mania? Priest catches him and Caster Sales. We've been laughing at that very possibility. We think that would be fucking hilarious. Oh my god, I would laugh so hard at Cody if that happened. If he was left in the middle of the ring again for the second Mania in a row, just being like, "What happened? I had it. You didn't have shit." And like, yeah, that'll make Damian Priest go up exponentially in my eyes because I like the dude, but I have been memeing on him a lot and his reluctance to cash in. If he was like, no, no, it wasn't because I didn't see the right moment. It wasn't the right person. I wanted to hurt Cody personally. I'm like, I have never been more in love with you than I am right now. So yeah, no, that'd be fucking great.
So, John, let me actually bringing it back to the New Japan Cup. Let me ask you a simple question. If you had to name who in your mind is the future of New Japan, give me like anywhere from 3 to 5 names. Who would that be?
Yota Tsuji,
Stop.
clearly.
Yotatsuji has not wrestled yet in the first round of the New Japan Cup, but his first round opponent is Jeff Cobb. So there's a very real chance that he loses in the first round. We'll see.
Oof. Uemura.
Uemura lost in the first round to Shingo.
Fuck. Bro, I'm gonna apologize to you right now because I know you said 3 to 5, and those are the only two people I can really think of. The Ren Narita, maybe, even though I don't like it.
Narita hasn't wrestled yet, but he's facing Taichi in the first round. So again, very real chance he loses.
Oh boy. Um, fuck. Yeah.
You're
Wow.
forgetting one major name that is
Um,
considered like a musketeer.
Shota Umino.
Lost to Jack Perry in the first round.
Jesus, that's a okay. That okay. You know what? I'm wrong. I'm not dead. I had a little bit left, and they stabbed it. Wow. Jesus Christ. Wow. You really brought the discussion back just to hurt me, and I'm
I
a
did. You're
sociopath?
welcome.
What? Dude, look into yourself before you ever call me anything or think anything again. What the hell? Jesus. Oh, John, you're unhinged. I'm unhinged? Excuse me, Joe Goldberg. They're able to put a sophisticated veneer on shit. Uh, fuck. All right. Well, now definitively taking the discussion away from New Japan. Uh, Super Blue said, "Oh, he specifically called me out for this." John, do you think Chris needs a weapon to try and beat Riho last once? Dude, I did not watch AEW. I have no context for this, but
Okay,
I'm willing to
John,
bet.
here's the context. Chris Statlander versus Riho happened on Dynamite this week. Do you think that it is perfectly normal or really weird that Chris Statlander got really frustrated because she didn't feel like she could beat Riho, so she grabbed a chair to try and beat her with it?
I mean that depends. Was that Stokely's advice? Because if it was, who am I to argue with a fucking king? That being said, who is anybody to argue with it? Or I'm sorry, Super Blue, how tall are you? But yeah, Riho, maybe she should have just eaten the pin, I don't know. I really don't
Riho did
see
end up beating Statlander, by the way.
wow, rude, rude. So yeah, use that chair. I don't give a fuck. Um, Cliff said only thing I watched was Okada Danielson, which was worth it. Yeah, yeah. Danielson, I know laid down a gauntlet for Will Ospreay, and that's that's whatever. Um, Caster Sales asking, do you think Oba Femi should be seen as a face, even with Briggs calling him a monster and Dijak saying that Jensen is a demi one? Dude, here's the thing, Caster, with
I
people
think
like Oba.
I'm sorry. Can I answer
No,
real quick?
no. Yeah, of course, of course.
I think he's definitively a face at this point, and I think that the turning point was when he beat the shit out of Lexus King.
I agree with you. And here's what I was even going to say anyway. Even if the booking was still making him a heel, the fans love him anyway.
Yeah,
So, like, yeah, yeah, in fact, I think Foster even just said it best. Oba isn't a face or a heel, he's just Oba. Like he's just this experience. And he really does for all the talk of AEW where it's like, we like to transcend these things. Oh my god, I hate you. I hate you so much. Oba, I think, just organically does it because yeah, he can be a douche, he can laugh in your face, which I mean, look, again, I love everybody in here, but if Oba laughed in any of our faces, I'd be like, fair.
deserved.
Uh yeah, just yeah. I mean, he even used a more forceful word than I did. Fuck it, he's still not wrong. No, because it's Oba fucking Femi. But like, the crowd loves him. So yeah, I agree with Foster 100%. Um, so yeah. Cliff. Thoughts on Roman being so on this point that he has to resort to calling said that crossover is good. Oh, yeah, we
Uh,
already did kind of touch on this. Yeah. Um, you know what though, Cliff? I will say this. I think you're going in a little too hard on Roman to say that he's washed or the state of Roman because I still think he's like in his bag
he is
99%
so
of the
in
time.
his bag. What? How can you call him
Yeah.
washed?
Yeah,
Jesus
I think that's
Christ.
way off base. Does that mean that I co-sign what Roman said here? No, I think you should read the fucking room and you should know what people in the Saga community are going through and like not alienate your fucking audience because I feel like WWE is in an age where they're trying to bring more of those demos into the product with people like Bailey, Bianca, fucking when Sonya was working with that. I don't even know if Sonya still no, Sonya got released. But
Did
I
she?
think
I don't
I
remember.
thought she did. But I think they've been making more of an effort. I wouldn't call Roman Wash by any means. I think that's way off base personally, but I do think it was an insensitive comment, and I wish Roman would have thought more about it. Like I expect more from him. Like Rock is one generation. I thought Roman was far enough removed from that generation to be better about it, but I don't know. Let's see, Super Blue. Do you think The Rock will make Seth open the night one to soften him up? No, Super Blue. My understanding is his world title match is on night two with Drew. Both world title matches are on night two. So yeah, it is. You know what, though, Super Blue? I will say to your credit, it does surprise me that The Rock as a character hasn't like swung his dick around more, being on the board to make things harder for Seth and Cody. But
I
yeah,
mean, we don't know the match order yet. There's a very real chance that they could do that. He could genuinely do that.
yeah,
They could
he
have
could.
the Rock character be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Seth, your title defense against Drew McIntyre is going to be the semi-main event of night one. So
Yeah,
you're going to get to just hang out after the match and wait for us to join you, and then we'll get the match underway right
yeah.
away." Bro, that would devastate Cody, and I would love it.
Dude, I'm telling you, because we're having people like mainly Cliff, I should say, like talking about like just end the rant, dude. Being totally serious, because I know I'm gonna have my fun again at WrestleMania preview predictions because I like having fun on this podcast. What a shock! But being completely serious and making a sober point, I want Roman to retain just because I want him to beat that Hogan title reign. Fuck Hulk Hogan, dude. Like if WWE has the balls to like erase Hogan in that way, I'm gonna be like, fuck yes. So I want it. I want it, man. Like fucking retain it, Mania, go another year. Mania 41, I don't know. Depending on the opponent, if it's Cody again, go another year. Fuck your. Not all stories are meant to be finished, you asswipe. Um, so yeah, let's see. Let's see. Um, wow. Cliff actually pointed out, speaking of Hogan, hey, I'll say this. Roman's about to end Hogan's record of most Mania main event. That is wild. Wow. What a fucking title reign to witness. And Misfit said Hogan has no reign. Isn't doesn't one of Hogan's reign like his third longest reign or whatever? Like, doesn't Roman have to beat one of Hogan's world title reigns? I thought. and he has to get past Mania 40 to do it. That's what my understanding. If somebody could like clarify that, because I thought he still had a Hogan record he needed to beat, but he would need to retain at Mania 40 to even be like in the conversation of ending it. But let's get back to questions at the same time. Um,
Hogan's longest reign was 1,474 days.
yeah, this is all true, Misfit, but you got to understand they've consolidated those titles right now, so they're just kind of looking at everything seemingly. And so yeah, people are still talking about him having a longer world title reign in general
Yeah,
than
Roman
Hogan's
right
to his
now is
reign.
at 1,287 days. And so he would only have to hold that title for another like 190 days, not even just under 190 days to beat Hogan.
Yeah, again, and just in world titles in general, not specifically
So shit,
WWE
he could
titles.
drop
Yeah.
that shit at like Survivor Series. He could drop that shit at Rumble. Like he wouldn't have to wait till Mania next year.
True. Yeah. Just get back Cody. Just get past Cody one more year because he works such a light guy. I could believe him making it. So like, yeah, there we go. Let's get
Because
back to
then the top
questions.
two WWE title reigns are Bob Backlund at over 2,100 days and Bruno's 2,800 day reign. You're not breaking either one of those.
No, you're not breaking either one of those, but breaking Hogan.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby.
yeah.
Um, let's see. We're getting a lot of comments here, not so many questions. So Super Blue did ask a question, though. I found it. Do you think Nia interferes with Becky versus Liv and we get a triple threat next Raw? I could see that, but see, it's not that you're wrong, Super Blue, but my problem is we already know what Becky's path to Mania is. Why are Nia and Liv doing this? I don't get it. Like, what do they get out of it?
It is really weird that they decided like we know that Becky's WrestleMania match is Rhea, but let's have her go on a fucking side quest on the way to Mania. Like what?
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
For what reason?
See, now this I agree with Cliff enthusiastically on. You've got to keep Becky Rhea one on one. I don't have any delusions that they're going to change it, but like the idea that we're even doing, in your words, this side quest, like, nah, if I'm doing a campaign, I've done this shit before too in WWE games. I keep it on the main campaign. Oh, John, can you help me? I got assaulted in the locker room. No, maybe look around, look both ways before you get assaulted. I don't know,
How
not really
about
my problem.
no?
Yeah, like I got a world title to win. Sorry, you're mid card for life, fucking chump ass. So no, I'm a dick, and I just wish Becky was more of a dick, and protected the sanctity of her title shot. But you do you, Bex. You do you. All right. So we've cleared out the queue of questions. I'm gonna keep the window open for a little bit. All right. Not seeing any questions coming, so I think we're gonna close the gate here,
How
and
peaceful.
we're gonna move on to our final segment: high spots and low shots. Let me have a real think on this. Unrated low shot seems to be Stardom because we interacted with them again this week. I'm waiting to be able to get back into Stardom matches, but actual low shot from what we did watch this week. Hmm. You know what? It's gonna be Lyra Valkyria.
Definitely good. Yeah, that's a great
Y-
one.
Yeah, because she lost her tag title shot that she gifted to Tatum, and she might have alienated Tatum from her with that accidental kick. We have no idea the standing of that relationship right now.
Oh my god,
And
yeah, that's right too. Holy shit, yes.
I do know the standing of her anatomy, though. She's down one arm, courtesy of Roxanne Perez. So there are probably better picks, but I honestly think this is one of my stronger low shots in a while. Lyra had a horrible fucking week.
Yeah.
So yeah, who's your low shot?
Milo shot, Eddie Kingston.
I love you. That's
He's
perfect.
getting fined and he got rainmakered.
That's the laugh that I want Okada to have when he drives home in his usual Ferrari after fucking putting down the poor people. God, he's already a better MJF than MJF ever was. Um, High spot. You know what? I'm not going to be disingenuous because I did not watch the Okada segment. It would feel unfair, especially if I don't know if you're going to give it to Okada. That'll be your prerogative. So I just want to focus on what I did watch. You know what? Just because I've been loving him so much lately, it's Drew McIntyre. Fucking beats Jey Uso, lays out Seth, and his Twitter game has been on point. I know I showed you the clip where he's driving out of the arena of that Raw, and fans are like, boo, CM Punk. And one fan was like, bring back Broken Dreams, Drew, bring back Broken Dreams. And he drives away, playing Cult of Personality, laughs, and he says, haha, you bunch of marks, and he drives off. He called them or he did the thing that we've been doing for years. He's one of us, dude. You realize the hope that that gives me that we have a tangential association with DM Hunk? Holy fuck, life has meaning again. So yeah, Drew is absolutely my high spot. This dude's a fucking king, and if you don't want him to be the next world champion, opinions and everything, but you're wrong. So there we go. Who's your high spot?
I love that for you. I really do.
Yes.
Let's see. My high spot. This is a little bit tough for me. I'm not gonna just give it to Okada because really all he did was debut. Like that's really, I mean, he debuted and turned heel. That's really the extent of it.
It was a douche
I
spew because
guess
he
I can,
aligned with
yeah, I
power.
guess I can give him credit for just aligning with the most powerful people in the room. That's cool, but like, he didn't like win any matches. He didn't cut a promo. There was nothing really to be said.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
you know what? I want to give a little bit of credit to someone who I typically view as like someone that puts me in pain because they always lose. That actually got an important dub this week. My high spot is Dijak.
Nice, nice. I love that for you and for him.
Yeah, I didn't really necessarily enjoy the match or anything. Also, honorary high spot to Tony D for getting contendership. That's cool too. But Dijak actually won an important, maybe even match end or a feud ending match
Yeah,
because he beat Joe Gacy in the Asylum match.
yeah.
He got two feast your eyes, and
He
that got
did. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at Foster's comment. Honorary low shot to chase you. They're losing a lot and didn't get Okada.
they sure didn't.
Okada's like, yeah, I ain't going to that fucking school. Fuck that place.
Okada's
God.
just looking at Foster like, you think I need more education?
Yeah, have you seen me?
Do
Has
you believe that I am uneducated, Alex?
Okada's looking like, has Andre Chase even shit in a toilet that was located inside the Tokyo Dome? I main evented in it. Fucking hell. Okada didn't get the calendars. No, he did not, Cliff. I honestly, I'll tell you, AEW, if you have any Hail Mary to get me to watch anything of your product with actual interest rather than just due diligence and doing my fucking job, it's the Okada stuff. You really have a huge opportunity here, and I hope you don't blow it, but it's you. So my confidence is like nil. Uh,
Okada be like, chase you? No, no, no. You chase me.
Oh, look at you know what though? I'm proud of Foster's face for standing up to Okada. I mean, mainly through us kind of taking on Okada's kind of sentiments because he said, Okada, you willingly chose to be friends with Yoshihashi. You need an education. You know what, Foster? You're my high
Five
spot
stars for
again.
Alex Foster, yes.
Yeah, you're my high spot again, Foster. Jesus Christ. To be that attractive physically and intellectually, marry me right now. We'll
What
make
a
cinnamon buns
fantastic
all the
human
time.
being he
I,
is.
dude, right? All the cinnamon rolls, all the fucking time, and breakfast for dinner at least 2 nights a week. Let's fucking do it. Let's go.
But not
Um,
cereal.
but not cereal. No, fuck Kellogg. Fucking weird anti-masturbation ass. Anyway,
Is that the
that
same guy? Probably not, right? He probably died by now, right?
yeah, he's been dead, thankfully.
Yeah.
Until necromancy becomes a thing.
No.
So yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
Hey, with that Neuralink chip, who fucking knows? Oh, did you see actually? This is the wrong podcast to do this, and we don't have any
What
other
is, I
podcast,
don't
but
I've heard about this Neuralink chip, but what is it?
well, it's a brain implant thing. It's
Right.
like a chip that literally it's like it goes in the brain that
Right.
Musk
I
has been developing.
understand what it is, but like what does it do?
Or well, really, the better question would be, what does he hope it'll accomplish? And the answer to that would be, he's thinking that it'll help with like mental health issues, that you'll be able to do things
Oh.
just mentally, which is what I was gearing up to tell you. Apparently, Musk has come out with a statement, and somebody rightfully pointed out like he should have to demonstrate this to Congress or else be like fined, if not like arrested for like market manipulation, because I feel like he's trying to like bait investors. But he's saying apparently that a Neuralink participant, I was going to say patient, participant's a better word, participant can now move a mouse with their mind. And I'm like, okay, footage or GTFO. Yeah. So like, I don't know. But yeah. Wow, and then Super Blue, I forgot Super Blue was a Yoshihashi fan. He's like, no, he doesn't, Foster. We already decided that Foster was right. I don't understand why discourse is still happening. Um, and then he said Okada and LA Knight would have killed it as a team. If Okada ever associated with LA Knight, Jesus Christ. I understand associating with the pores, but that's a little serious. All right. Well, this has been In Review. I'm John. It's my coordinate commentary Ashton. Hope you guys all enjoyed it because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. Be sure to like the video as you file out, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And yeah, Ashton, the way it's looking is I guess we're just going to try next Thursday for Stardom recap. I do think this Thursday will be the week because I
Absolutely, it definitely will because we're gonna be getting Cinderella stuff.
Yes, yes, and that's gonna pad it out for us. And so, good for Stardom. I will admit I've already seen some stuff from the Cinderella tournament, and I don't even care that I was spoiled, quote unquote, because I'm still hyped to react to it with you and just to kind of see it unfold in real time. So yeah, Thursday at 7 will be a Stardom recap. So yeah, just enjoy your Sunday. If you're part of the Discord, be sure to join Monday for Raw. I hope to be in there. I know I've been kind of off lately. Again, I've had a lot going on. But I do enjoy being in the live wrestling discussion chat with you guys. So if you're part of the Discord, come hang out with us. Same thing for NXT on Tuesday and SmackDown's on Friday. And I've been meaning to ask Ashton, do we have a Q&A this month? That's been on
The
my mind
last
lately.
Friday, yep.
The last, okay, so we
Or
do.
Thursday. Sorry, the last.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we kind of have an issue with the Thursday Friday thing because of Stardom. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I figured though we did have one because I know it's quarterly, and I'm like, well, it is a quarter now, so yeah.
Yeah. It's this month. That's correct.
Thank you, Cliff. Where were you earlier when I was being a boomer about this? He's like honorary low shot every PLE ring that has to have that big ugly ass Prime logo on there. Cliff,
I
I hated it
really
too, man.
want Gunther to go after Logan Paul for this.
Yeah, he needs to like take a knife and just deface that canvas and like
You
put
have
down your canvas.
desecrated the sanctity of the ring.
Yeah, exactly, Cliff. I don't know where you were earlier, my man, but thank you for coming in at the last second because these guys can vouch for me. I actually took a moment in our in review to talk about how much I fucking hated it because I do
Yeah.
for reasons both political and aesthetic. But yeah, yeah, that's gonna be our week. And so yeah, and then Q&A. Yeah, just get your questions in, guys. Mainly on the Discord. If you remember, that's the easiest way. Nobody really interacts with my pinned tweet on Twitter anymore. I'm even thinking like maybe I can finally get rid of my Twitter. I don't know. But now I'm plugged into political stuff, so I found a new reason to keep it. But yeah, I've still got the pinned tweet up if you want to submit questions.
You're plugged in.
um, Discord and yeah, YouTube. So just get them in. All right, guys. Have a good Sunday. Have a good week until we all meet up again. Tune in. Peace out.